On a frost-laced morning in February 2012, 24-year-old Lily Garrison vanished along a desolate stretch of Route 33 near Elkins, West Virginia. Her car was found idling on the roadside, driver's door open, purse still inside. No signs of struggle, no footprints in the snow. She was never seen again. To this day, no one knows what happened to Lily. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel as we uncover the disappearance of Lily Garrison. Elkins is a quiet, wooded town nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains. Life moves slowly there, hemmed in by dense forest and steep ridgelines, with a population barely tipping 7,000. It's a place where folks greet each other by name at the post office, and where secrets can live a long time beneath the cover of pine and shadow. Lillian Garrison was known the most as that girl with the soft laugh and sketchbook always under her arm. Born and raised in Elkins, she had recently returned home after graduating from Marshall University with a degree in environmental studies. She worked part-time at a local co-op, helped at her aunt's antique store, and spent weekends hiking in the Monongahela National Forest. By all accounts, Lily was grounded, kind, and rarely kept to herself for long. Friends describe her as gentle but determined, someone who could spend hours drawing wildflowers on trail notepads or quietly organizing river cleanups no one had asked for. She didn't party, didn't travel often, and had a close-knit circle of friends who said she was starting to come into her own during the winter of 2012. That February, the weather had taken a sharp turn. A late-season cold snap swept down from the north, covering the hills in ice. On the morning of February 17th, a Thursday, Lily left her house around 8 a.m., reportedly to visit the town of Harmon, roughly 20 miles southeast. She told her roommate, a childhood friend, Erin Vance, that she planned to stop by a wildlife rehab center to discuss volunteer opportunities and maybe swing by a farmer's market if the weather permitted. She never arrived in Harmon, and she never came home. By 1:30 p.m., Erin grew concerned when Lily hadn't responded to texts or returned calls. Without a word by sunset, she contacted Lily's parents, who lived a few blocks away. By 7 p.m., Lily Garrison was reported missing to the Randolph County Sheriff's Department. The next morning, February 18th, her 2007 Subaru Outback was discovered just 3 miles outside Elkins. She parked awkwardly along a shoulder on Route 33 near Cheat Hollow, a steep, forested ravine known more to hikers and hunters than to casual drivers. The vehicle was still unlocked, engine cold. Her purse was on the passenger seat, cell phone tucked inside, battery dead. A thermos of coffee rested in the cup holder. The driver's door was cracked open, as if someone had just stepped out and never returned. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no tire tracks, and, crucially, no discernible footprints in the crusted snow surrounding the site. Case file, RCPD 2012-0217-LG. The initial law enforcement response was swift. Deputies from the Randolph County Sheriff's Office cordoned off the area, and a search and rescue operation was deployed by that afternoon. K-9 units were brought in, but reportedly lost Lily scent just a few yards into the tree line. Drones and helicopters searched overhead for any signs of movement, and volunteers combed the surrounding terrain for 3 days. The terrain, however, made the effort difficult. The Monongahela Forest just beyond the road is wild, rugged, and an easy turnaround. Temperatures dipped to the teens overnight, and ice coated much of the ground beneath the thick pine canopy. Despite the cold, Lily's family and dozens of locals joined the search, hoping for any trace, clothing, footprints, a dropped item, but nothing was found. Deputies interviewed her friends, family, and known associates. No one had seen or spoken to Lily after 8:15 that morning. Her phone records showed no outgoing calls after she left home. Her bank card hadn't been used, and her social media accounts remained untouched. According to her roommate Erin, Lily had been in good spirits that week. They'd gone grocery shopping together the night before her disappearance and planned to watch a documentary that weekend. Lily hadn't mentioned meeting anyone or being concerned about anything. There were no signs of depression, no reported conflicts, and no financial trouble. She was, as investigators would later describe her, a low-risk missing adult with no known threats or vulnerabilities. But people don't just vanish. Over time, theories began to circulate. Some believe Lily had wandered into the woods, disoriented or injured, and succumbed to the elements. But her winter coat was missing from her home, and she was an experienced hiker. Others suspected foul play. Perhaps she'd stopped to help someone on the roadside and had been abducted. A few residents noted that the area around Cheat Hollow had a long-standing reputation for drug activity and squatters. Though no direct link was ever made to Lily, detectives explored all leads. A man living off-grid in a nearby hunting cabin was questioned and released. A trucker passing through the area the same morning was interviewed twice, but had a solid alibi. Wildlife camera footage in the surrounding hills turned up nothing. No vehicle matching her description was recorded on nearby gas station security feeds. In April, nearly 2 months after her disappearance, a hunter discovered a tattered scarf roughly 6 miles south of where Lily's car had been found. The scarf was positively identified as hers, but no other evidence accompanied it. The area was searched extensively again. Still, no sign of Lily herself, no remains, no clothing, no personal items was ever located. Unresolved case status, active missing unsolved. The case remains open. Every year, on the anniversary of her disappearance, her parents hang a wreath near the guardrail on Route 33, where her car was found. A small wooden cross with her name etched into it rests at the forest edge, half covered in moss. It's a silent reminder of the questions that still hang in the winter air. Why was her door left ajar? Why did she stop there at all? And how could someone disappear so completely in daylight, less than 4 miles from home? Over the years, Lily Garrison's case has been featured in local newspapers and true crime forums. The West Virginia State Police have periodically reopened aspects of the investigation, but admit that they are essentially in a holding pattern without new evidence or tips. Her family continues to believe she was taken. There's no way she walked into that forest alone, her father, Thomas Garrison, said in a 2019 interview. I know my daughter. She was careful, smart. Whatever happened to her, it wasn't by choice. 10 years later, the mystery endures. Lily's name remains in the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, NAMUS. Case file MP15230. Her photo, a smiling young woman with chestnut hair and eyes like the river in spring, still circulates on missing persons boards. A $15,000 reward, funded by private donors and local organizations, remains unclaimed. In the absence of answers, speculation continues to grow, quietly feeding the unsettling notion that some places hold secrets too deep for time or memory to unravel. And Cheat Hollow, silent and watchful beneath the weight of winter, keeps its silence. It was Thursday, February 17, 2012. It was the kind of morning that settles into the Appalachian hills like a secret. Cold, hushed, and a little too quiet. The previous night had brought a thin dusting of snow, just enough to shimmer under the canopy of gray sky that stretched over Randolph County like a held breath. By 7 a.m., most of Elkins was waking up to another brittle winter morning. Lily Garrison, 24, was one of the first up. Her roommate, Erin Vance, would later recall the sounds of Lily creeping through the house, the muted creak of floorboards and the hiss of the kettle on the stove. At 7:18 a.m., Lily knocked on Erin's door to ask if she needed anything from Harmon, where she said she was heading later that morning. I just remember her being calm. She seemed normal, Erin told detectives during her initial interview. She was dressed in hiking boots and that tan parka with the fur-trimmed hood, the same one she always wore on trail days. Timeline of events: February 17, 2012, 7:15 a.m. to 8 a.m. Lily eats a small breakfast. Oatmeal according to the recipe, which is a bowl still in the sink. She fills her thermos with black coffee and packs a canvas tote bag with a notebook, gloves, and a trail map of the Monongahela region. Her phone, fully charged the night before, is unplugged and slipped into her purse. 8:05 a.m. Lily leaves the house, briefly waving to Erin from a front porch. She is seen getting into her Subaru Outback, a silver 2007 model with a West Virginia plate reading HG9-821. This is the last confirmed sighting of Lily by someone who knew her. 8:21 a.m. A traffic camera on Harrison Avenue captures the vehicle headed southeast toward Route 33, confirming her intended direction toward Harmon at 8:47 a.m. A local road worker, Greg Talbot, reports seeing a silver SUV pulled over along a narrow shoulder near Cheat Hollow. At the time, didn't stop. He assumed the driver was taking a phone call or possibly looking at a map. He noted that the driver's side door appeared slightly ajar. He could not confirm if anyone were inside. After news of Lily's disappearance broke, Talbot did not report this until following day. 8:52 a.m. Lily's phone sends its final signal, an automatic ping to a nearby tower indicating that the device is no longer active. Investigators confirmed this was the last time her cell was traceable. The tower that picked up the ping was located approximately 2 miles northeast of Cheat Hollow from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Lily misses her meeting in Harmon. The Wildlife Rehabilitation Center confirms she had spoken with them earlier that week and was expected around 10 a.m. She never arrives, and calls to her phone go straight to voicemail. The Discover 4:12 p.m. After multiple unanswered calls, Aaron Vance begins texting Lily's family. Her parents, Thomas and Marie Garrison, attempt to reach her by phone and then drive the 10 minutes from their house to Lily's home. Her car is not in the driveway at 7:03 p.m. Lily has been officially reported missing to the Randolph County Sheriff's Office. An initial alert is issued to local departments, and deputies begin a cursory check of the main roads between Elkins and Harmon at 8:15 p.m. Deputy Carl Denton located Lily's vehicle just off Route 33 near a turnout by Cheat Hollow. The Subaru is unlocked, and the driver's door is open 3 inches. The keys are missing, but her purse is still inside, zipped and placed neatly on the passenger seat. Inside it are her phone, battery drained, wallet, and notebook filled with sketches of native plants. The vehicle shows no signs of damage. The snow around it is undisturbed, with no visible footprints leading away. There are no tire marks beyond those left by her vehicle. Investigators mark this as unusual. The area is remote, lightly trafficked, and bordered by steep forested terrain. It's not a common spot to pull over, certainly not in the middle of winter. The investigation begins. February 18, 2012. Search and rescue units begin coordinated sweeps of the Cheat Hollow area at first light. Drones and K-9 units are deployed, though the terrain proves difficult, icy, thick with undergrowth, and sloping into deep ravines. Detective Colleen Marshall, the lead investigator, is quoted in early case notes. This is not someone who simply walked off. There's no indication of distress and no attempt to call for help. It's as if she stepped out of her vehicle and vanished into thin air. The family sets up a command post at a nearby church, where volunteers organize search parties. Local media picked up the story by that evening. Community reaction and media coverage. The following 48 hours will see intense local coverage. Posters featuring Lily's face will go up across Randolph County. WV News, the Intermountain and regional radio stations will push coverage of her disappearance. Local businesses will donate supplies to search crews. A Facebook group, Bring Lily H to Me, will gather over 3,000 followers in its first week. Her parents, emotional but composed, speak at a candlelight vigil on February 2nd. Lily is not someone who would disappear on purpose. She had plans. She had people waiting on her. We need answers, and we need help finding her. Key evidence and findings. February 21st, 2012. A forensic team confirms no foreign fingerprints or DNA were found in Lily's vehicle beyond hers and her roommates. Her cell phone data reveals no recent texts, suspicious messages, or outgoing calls in the morning when she disappeared. February 24th, 2012. K-9 units pick up a weak scent trail leading 60 yards in the forest, but lose it near a dry creek bed. Later, a sock confirmed to belong to Lily is discovered snagged on a branch in the same area. It was the only personal item found outside the car until the scarf was recovered in April. The car is towed to an evidence lot for further examination. Nothing unusual is found, no sign of mechanical failure, no damage, and no blood. Red herrings and misleads. 1. The red truck. 2 days after Lily's disappearance, a resident in nearby Bowdoin reports a red pickup truck parked for hours in an abandoned logging lot the same morning Lily vanished. The vehicle was reportedly occupied by a lone man in his 40s, described as unkempt and anxious looking. Authorities investigated, but traced the truck to a traveling handyman with verifiable jobs that day. No connection to Lily is established. 2. The cabin sightings. 3 weeks into the investigation, rumors circulate of a woman matching Lily's description seen walking near an old fire tower south of Parsons. The woman is said to have looked confused and barefoot. The area is searched and a small shack, possibly used by squatters, is discovered, abandoned, with old food wrappers and a sleeping bag. No physical evidence links the site to Lily, and the lead is ultimately dismissed. Theories and rumors. Over time, multiple theories developed. Voluntary disappearance. Some believe Lily may have chosen to vanish, but those close to her insist she had no reason to leave, and her lack of preparation, financial activity, or communication contradicts that theory. Abduction. The most widely accepted theory among locals and law enforcement. The area is remote, and Lily could have been approached after pulling over for an unknown reason. Foul play by someone she knew. No one close to Lily had a known conflict with her, but investigators quietly scrutinized those in her circle. Erin Vance, her roommate, was fully cooperative and later cleared through polygraph and timeline confirmation. Accidental death. The wilderness around Cheat Hollow is dangerous in winter. A fall animal attack or exposure remains possible, but no body, bones, or clothing beyond the sock and scarf have ever been recovered. As the weeks turned into months, the emotional gravity of Lily's disappearance settled like a permanent fog over her family and the community. Her father stopped working and dedicated himself full-time to the search. Her mother, Marie, became reclusive. Erin Vance eventually moved out of their shared home, unable to sleep in the same room where she had last heard Lily's footsteps. Detective Marshall remained committed but candid in her 2014 case update. This case haunts us. We followed every credible lead, reviewed every camera and every mile of forest. It doesn't make sense. It never has. Unanswered questions. Why did Lily pull over at Cheat Hollow? Who, if anyone, was she meeting or avoiding? Why was her door left open? Why was her phone drained so quickly? And then came the note. 9 months after her disappearance, in November 2012, a letter arrived at the Elkins Police Department. It was handwritten, in uneven block letters, and postmarked from Charleston. It read only, "She's not going. You don't know where to look." There was no signature, no fingerprints, no return address. Authorities dismissed it as a hoax. Billy's mother kept a copy, folded in her purse, just in case. Nearly 2 years have passed since Lily Garrison vanished from a remote stretch of highway in the Monongahela wilderness. February 17, 2012, remains a frozen point in time for her family, the town of Elkins, and the investigators who still refer to her case as one of the strangest disappearances in West Virginia history. No suspects, no confirmed sightings, nobody, just a car, a sock caught on a branch, a drained phone, and a mysterious note. With no resolution, theories have become the only framework in which the mystery continues to live. Some are grounded in logic, others spiral into the unknowable, but the same aching absence of closure haunts all. She will walk you through the 3 leading possibilities surrounding the Garrison's disappearance, each as chilling as the last. Theory 1, abduction by an unknown party. From the very beginning, the possibility of abduction has been the most widely accepted and heavily investigated theory. According to official case notes, file RC 2012-147G, there were no signs of struggle in or around Lily's Subaru. The car was undamaged, and her belongings remained untouched. The snow surrounding the area showed no scuff marks, tire impressions, or multiple footprints. However, the morning snowfall had been light and intermittent, and investigators conceded that any transient markings could have been obscured or erased by the time they located her vehicle at 8:15 p.m. Detective Colleen Marshall, who led the original investigation, stated in a 2015 interview, "Can't rule out a roadside encounter. Whether she pulled over to help someone, was flagged down, or stepped briefly, we believe something happened quickly. A handful of witness reports surfaced in the days following her disappearance. The most compelling came from a hunter named Jake Mallory, who claimed to have seen a silver SUV and a dark-colored sedan parked side by side near the Cheat Hollow turnout. Just after 9 a.m., the silver car was facing out toward the road, but the other car, that one had its trunk open, looked like someone was talking between the two vehicles. Mallory did not recognize either driver and could not provide plate numbers or a detailed description. Investigators followed up but found no surveillance footage to verify his claim. No one else came forward. Then there was a note, postmarked from Charleston and written in crude block lettering. It arrived 9 months later with a cryptic message. She's not chest, she's not sitting. You don't know where to look. The note appeared to be a taunt, suggesting Lily was alive and being held somewhere. It was examined for fingerprints and DNA, but nothing turned up. Some believed it to be a cruel prank. Others, including Lily's mother, clung to the idea that it was a breadcrumb, a thread of hope. Law enforcement couldn't confirm its legitimacy, but it didn't dismiss the psychological weight it carried. Many questions bolstered the abduction theory. Why was the driver's door left ajar, yet her purse untouched? Why was her phone drained within an hour, despite being fully charged that morning? Who would want to harm or take Lily, a woman with no known enemies, debts, or suspicious relationships? The theory's strength lies in its eerie plausibility. Remote roads, few witnesses, and a vulnerable moment. But its weakness is just as glaring, a total lack of forensic evidence. In most roadside abductees, there's something, a trail, a sign of distress. In Lily's case, there was none. Theory 2, voluntary disappearance. Though painful for loved ones, the possibility that Lily Garrison chose to vanish remains on the table. She had no history of mental illness, and her relations, according to friends and family, were stable. But some investigators quietly speculated that there might have been more beneath the surface. In the weeks before her disappearance, Lily had withdrawn from certain activities. She stopped attending weekly community art classes and recently turned down an offer to join a local conservation project, a cause she'd been passionate about. Her roommate, Aaron Vance, described him as quieter than you, though he didn't seem depressed. Lily spent several hours alone in her room the night before she disappeared. No texts, no calls, just sketching. In her recovered notebook, found in the car, one entry from February 10th reads, "I keep thinking I'm being watched when I hike, but when I turn around, there is nothing. I wonder if I'm just unraveling a little tlee." Another journal entry, undated, reads, "Some days, disappearing will be easier than explaining why I want to." Though cryptic, these writings suggest internal conflict. But would it be enough to make her leave behind her home, family, and carefully planned schedule? One fringe theory suggested that Lily may have staged her disappearance and entered some off-grid community or a hidden lifestyle. Survivalist groups in Virginia's remote pockets have existed for decades, some completely undocumented. But even in the tight-lipped subcultures of the Appalachians, no one has claimed to have seen Lily. Further, none of her bank accounts, IDS, or Social Security records have shown activity since the day she vanished. Her passport was found in her bedroom drawer. No purchases, border crossings, or sightings on national registries have existed. Aaron Vance shut this theory down in an emotional 2013 interview. Lily was independent, private, even a little melancholy sometimes. But she was not the kind of person who would disappear and leave her family wondering if she was dead. She loved them too, Uke. Voluntary disappearance is statistically rare among adults with no criminal history, psychiatric records, or signs of distress, and is a theory that refuses to be ruled out completely. Theory 3, supernatural or paranormal encounters. It's essential to begin this section with a caveat. There is no physical evidence to support a paranormal cause behind Garrison's son's disappearance. However, the location and nature of her vanishing have invited speculation far outside standard investigation. The Monongahela National Forest, especially the region surrounding Cheat Hollow, is steeped in folklore. Locals speak of shadow figures in the woods, strange lights, and disembodied whispers. Tales of lost time, vanishing hikers, and unmarked graves return to the early 1900s. To them, they're just stories. But in a region known for centuries-old legends and long stretches of untouched wilderness, we aren't so quick to dismiss the possibility of something else. One story, told by a retired forest ranger, Wallace Keene, predates Lily's disappearance by nearly 20 years. He recounted coming across a young woman in the same region whose car was found. She was walking barefoot through the trees, disoriented, and speaking in a language she couldn't identify. She had vanished into the woods by the time he radioed for help. It was like she blinked out of the trees, Keene said. Just one. There are also whispers of the thin place, a local superstition claiming that parts of the Monongahela are veil-in, where the line between worlds weakens. These ideas, while unscientific, have been passed down through generations in whispered tones and campfire warnings. One chilling theory suggests that Lily may have encountered something ancient, a natural anomaly, a slip in time, or a portal. Of course, investigators do not formally entertain these ideas. But as time stretches and answers remain elusive, some wonder if the truth lies outside the bounds of standard explanation. And there's the note. She's not she's waiting. You don't know where to oak. If the Suantes had not been involved, could they have seen something they didn't understand? Could the message be metaphorical? Or slit row? Lingering questions. Each theory has its champions and its flaws. The case sits in a frustrating deadlock. It was too cold to investigate actively, but too strange to close. After years of waiting, the Garrison family moved out Elkins in 2017. The home Lily once shared with Aaron was sold to a young couple who reportedly keep her missing persons flyer tacked on a bulletin board by the kitchen. In 2021, the Randolph County Sheriff's Office reopened the case for a brief period after a woman's body was discovered near a dry streambed 5 miles from Cheat Hollow. But the remains were identified as belonging to another missing woman from out of state. The momentary hope shattered. Again, the official status of the case remains open and unsolved. Like many others across the Appalachian region, Carillali's story remains suspended in limbo, a portrait of a person who should still be here, whose absence is felt more deeply with each passing season. Was it a tragic accident, an encounter with someone who meant her harm, or something far more sinister? Something that defies explanation? What do you think happened to Lily Garrison? Was it a tragic accident or something far more sinister? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more content relating to horrors and missing cases.